Hi guys, today I want to talk about something this is the sacred secret, instant third eye activation. So I don't know if you have come across this yet, but there seems to be some new age teaching going around recently, which is all about third eye activation and getting people ready to comply, basically. So I'm gonna explain this during the video. And the fact that Mr. Carrey himself, Jim Carrey, Hollywood top tier, is promoting this himself on TV. Calls for wisdom, of course. Obviously, we know, we Christians who are following Christ and Jesus Christ in the name of Jesus and believe that he is the Messiah and believe and put our faith in him, far away from idolizing anything in this world like stars, politicians, and any of those kind of teachings that come with this, be it how to, or the 10 steps to success, these baits that they put out there to get you follow the same things that they do, like wealth, follow accumulating money, all these things that they do, and promoting this way of life, this broad way, so to say. So the idea is that the biblical scriptures aren't to be taken literally, but it's more of a description of the physical body. So this is their interpretation of the Bible. And already from this you can tell that while there is a spiritual layer, I'm not denying this to the words that are written in the Bible, it's not an expression of the physical. Jesus makes clear that there are earthly things, fleshly things, and then there are heavenly things, and you won't find the heavenly things by looking or indulging in the fleshly things. So we need to establish this understanding first, which is basic, really, to understand this whole esoteric theory that is presented here, which is that Jesus points towards this esoteric idea that there are fluids running up and down your spine, and they go up into your brain, and then they come down again, and the whole story about Jesus is just a description of what's going on in your body, which is creating life, so to say. And it's all tying into vibrations and all this kind of new age stuff, from raising your vibrations, opening chakras, and all that stuff. They really tie Hinduistic teachings, Christian teachings, and Buddhism, and all this stuff. They try to narrow down into one kind of religion that makes sense to that can make sense to a lot of people, which in my view is their goal anyways. If you think about the governments trying to create a one world order and these are just puppets promoting this kind of new religion or new knowledge, or long forgotten knowledge that now has been revealed again, so to say. It's them trying to create one religion that brings all mankind together from all kinds of beliefs, be it Christian, Muslim, Hindu, some native tribal stuff, and occult teachings, whatever. There's a whole variety on beliefs, and they're trying to bring it all together into one. Because you can only have a one world order if there is a certain amount of people that believe in one and the same thing, and religion plays a big part in this. And it's not the religion to God or the religion with God, the Father in heaven. It's always coming down to a religion within the creation that leads away from God, actually, from the Father in heaven, and leads people towards worshipping the creation itself again, not the creator, but the creation itself. Like, instead of praising the Lord and the Father in heaven for creating, for example, our bodies and stuff, through these New Age teachings, they are pushed or drawn to believe that everything is happening inside of yourself, and you're in control of everything. And once have opened all your chakras and you climbed up the ladder, I think it's the word, of vibrations, you could be like God and, like, I don't know, have abilities, superpowers, whatever they believe in. I think it's very satanic. And what this, from the descriptions, it reminds me actually of Freemasonry, of these brotherhoods, these secret societies, that they have the same system within their brotherhoods, where they are initiated and then they can climb up the stairs and reach levels, and according to those levels they are put into positions that give them more wealth and more power, and it's a very earthly teaching, it's a very earthly practice, which also ties into this new religion. And think about it, if you're mentally stuck to some kind of system with frequencies and vibrations, and you're thinking like you need to get to a higher vibration and practice things like, I don't know, through meditation and through certain practices, affirmation, whatever that is. So you're reaching those higher frequencies of vibrations, as they say. Only then you're gonna have insight and secret knowledge and be wise and have all these things. But to me it sounds like being in a cycle, like when you fall down, you fall back down. You gotta do something to reach up there again, right? It's like it's a vicious cycle inside people's minds, then, where they feel like if they left out a routine, they need to get back, like, for example, if you have a morning routine and you do this every morning, and once you don't do it, you feel like you're missing out something. Like it is very dangerous. Actually, it's a very tricky thing. You know, it has to do with psychology and um, your mentality basically, and also this instant third eye activation. It teaches to live by the moon. Like it ties into astrology, into Babylonian mysticism. You know, and what they teach is that it has to do with the moon sign and the sun sign. You know, these astrological things, and according to them, you should refrain from sex to at a certain period of time, and this is what enlightens your third eye. If you do this for a long time, of course, obviously. And this then will enlighten your third eye. And why would this be good? Well, they say then you're living a longer life. You're living. This is how they lived in earlier days. They lived for 500, 800 years, whatever. And it's always about promoting immortality on Earth. While this is already also satanic belief, because death is the truth. You know, death is part of life, and anything that promotes immortality on Earth is a liar. And eternity is only with God in heaven. And so what people would do, like people who control the world, they would sell you an idea that makes you think you could control your own fate, so to say. You could enlarge your life by practicing certain things, by living in certain ways. You know, it's not. It's good to be healthy. You know, it's being wise. You know, if it comes to like drinking alcohol in high amounts, or you know, you wouldn't deliberately run into a knife because you know it's gonna kill you. So this is one aspect, right? But to overanalyze and be in a kind of psychosis already mentally by like surrounding yourself with those practices and routines that come with the moon and with cycles. You know, you at some point you're finding yourself in this. It's a whole giant trap basically, to put people into a state where they are over concerned with themselves, where they are over analyzing themselves, where they are consumed with themselves rather than looking out, you know, looking at those people that control them and exposing those liars. They would be busy and consumed with themselves and trying to gain some spiritual insight, and you know, and it's very far away from the truth actually. It's and very far away from actual from the actual power that people have in this world. And it's always about higher powers, people in governments trying to get people to submit, because they are distracted, because they are consumed with themselves. They don't really care much about what the government is doing, while being controlled by those governments, you know. And that's very sad, and it's tricky. And this is just the way Satan has been controlling this world for decades. and everyone who is seeking truth knows that we are in as in the days of Noah, or when, or like the legend of the Tower of Babel, where the world tries to reach for the heavens and build this one world empire, one world government that with one language, and it's all globalized, it's all connected. And this also ties into those occult new age teachings, like everything is connected. We're all one giant organism, and basically breaking down all those external things that set us apart. Like they shouldn't set us apart, but what they are doing, like let's talk in black and white, for example, black people, white people. The truth is that there are black people and there are white people, but what they are trying to do is make it like as if those skin colors don't exist, and we're all just one and the same. It's the truth is that there are races, and Chinese people, Asian people look differently than others. What's wrong about this, if people would go now and say, well, I am better because I am white, or because I have different shaped eyes, this is wrong about it. But looking at the truth that there are races without denying this truth, I think is the way, and where we should go in general, without trying to, and see the variety for what it is, instead of trying to same everything, like put everything into one basket. And this is also a tool for them to create this kind of one world spirit, everything is the same, everyone is the same. There are no basically borders don't exist, anything, and we could all be one giant world that fights against aliens or something, or climate change, whatever it is that speaks to every man on this planet. And it sounds like a good idea from the outside, but if you look into it deeper, you can understand that the only ones who really profit from this are the world governments, are the ones who centralize the power, are the ones who are selling you those products, who are putting you into like kind of prison, into a prison cell at home, in your smart homes. You're just gonna, I don't know, work from home, do this from home, do everything from home, and they deliver everything to you. And you're basically not existing anymore. You're basically just a battery that keeps the system running. And you're not free to walk around. You're not free to move and to like live your life, so to say. And they got people to a point where they actually don't want to move around, they would prefer to stay at home and do like being consumed with themselves, over analyzing themselves and stuff, and all of this ties into those new age religions that are promoting this idea that through certain amount of work you can reach certain levels spiritually, and it is very demonic. It's demonic teaching. It's like you're not, the way God created you isn't good enough. You can do better. You can control your own fate, so to say. And it is satanic and demonic by its root. Well, that's what I've been trying to explain. And one other thing to tie this into biblical teaching is that Jesus said, "Come to me and you will not be thirsty." You will never be thirsty. Because it is the thirsty, those that are spiritually thirsty, that everyone has that thirst, right? Every man has a spiritual thirst to kind of trying to figure out what is this all about, why am I here, what is life, and all these questions that come with this, and that's a thirst. And people who are thirsty will fall for the lies that the father of lies, which is Satan, will promote, will spout, will try to carry into this world to get them to worship Satan instead of God, to draw them away from God. And that's why Jesus said, "Come to me and you will not thirst." All you have to do is come to him and drink the water, which is salvation, and put your faith into him. That's all. You don't need to practice anything that raises your vibrations, that raises your frequencies, whatever you believe in. You're not a machine, You're a man, you're a human. Machines work with vibrations and frequencies. And once you came to Jesus, he will give you a drink, and it is of water that satisfies you, that gives you all the answers you need. Basically, there are no more questions if you know God. If you ask yourself anything, the answer is God. It's whatever it is. Answering those questions with God comes with an acceptance, that you can't know everything. It actually protects you from falling into those rabbit holes, let's say, where you try to overanalyze everything, and you buy thousands of books and you read them all and you think you know everything now. But then there's one question that raises another question and another question and another question, and it's like never ending, so to say, So how can you break from? What's the salvation to this? Like, what will free you from this? The only thing that will set you free is the truth, and the truth is through Jesus Christ. The truth is the Father in heaven, and he is the answer to everything. Whatever you ask yourself, if it is, why am I here, God? Why am I human and not an animal? It's God. Why can't I fly like a bird? Why do I walk on earth? It's God. God designed it that way. What's behind the universe? It's God. What is the sun exactly doing? Where does the light come from? It's God, okay? It's a relief, you don't stress about these things anymore. You can just accept how things are and live with them. And with this comes power, you know. You're not consumed with trying to figure out and putting all your energy into answering those questions when you already have the answer, you know. And it's a gift, basically. It's a gift from heaven. And some people think that they can figure out God by reading more and more books and more books about this and more books about that, and learning about this and learning about that, and then your whole life becomes about this learning process, and it's very not narcissistic at its root, you know. And it kind of consumes you in a way, so which imprisons you, and you're not free from this, you know. You're not free to actually see the truth because you're so stuck into figuring out God, so to say, that you're blind to God himself because you're trying to figure him out. It's like, you know, in maths there is this function that's called limes, and as you go, it feels like you're getting closer to something, but you're never getting there because you're coming from the creation itself, which the creation itself will never get to the creator, you know. You have to go, so to say, go to the creator directly to be there. And trying to find the solutions within the creation is a lie in itself, and it can only come from the father of lies to promote those kind of seekings, seeking things through this world, seeking God in those things, be it other man, be it your body, be it celestial bodies, be it some kind of plants or whatever. Anything that you could basically worship anything. You could worship a tree and say, I find God through this tree, while God created that tree, and you could see his might, his power, his grace, his design. Yeah, you're still not really with God, because you literally have to put your faith into God. And just by looking at a tree and saying, oh, I can see God, it's not done, you know. It's very close to actually worshipping then the nature again instead of God, the creator, and worshipping creation. And I keep repeating this because it's the one thing that I think most people can understand, even if they aren't familiar with any teachings in the Bible, even if they aren't familiar with Jesus, that there's a creation, and there's a creator, and then there's a creation, and the concept that we should worship the creator and not the creation. It is a very simple concept. There is no complexity in this. It's a kid can understand this, you know, a child of God. A child can understand this. And I believe every animal understands this. Because if you look at the animal kingdom, they aren't seeking as man does, you know. They aren't spiritually seeking, going to a library and seeking God through books, or they aren't going to a building made of stone and thinking that they are doing God's work, you know. They are already in the know. Which doesn't mean they are above us, but I think that they already know something that man maybe knew but has forgotten. For example, the biting of the apple in the Garden of Eden would tie into this. Like, let's assume in the Garden of Eden, mankind knew what God was, who God was, and at some point, Eve and Adam, they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and from there, people started to try to be like God, and even believe that they could achieve being God himself, and I don't know, which is very, very sick if you're strong enough to to understand this harsh word, sick, to be to have, like, or evil, you know. These are harsh words, but this is the truth, you know. And Jesus comes to the sick, not to the ones who are sane and who already know God. And yeah, that's it for today. All glory to God, and I hope you can get something away from it if you're dabbling into third eye activations and stuff. You should definitely listen up, and I hope this can guide you into the direction of truth, actually. Because, you know, I can't necessarily convince people about truth. I can only direct them towards truth, and this is what I'm trying to do here. So